The numbers didn't lie, but they didn't make sense either. Sector 2. Medium speed corners. For years, this was Charles Leclerc's fortress, his territory inside Ferrari. Teammates like Vettel, Sainz, even Raikkonen came and went, but no one, and I mean no one, could outbrake him. Until now. Lewis Hamilton didn't just go deeper into the braking zone. He did it smoother, cleaner, with more rotation and less correction, and he made it look easy. The engineers ran the data 3 times. The simulator rejected it each time. It wasn't supposed to be possible. But in Formula One, when reality doesn't fit the model, you don't ignore the data. You question the model. Inside Maranello, the simulator is scripture. Every brake map, every energy recovery mode, built around Charles Leclerc's inputs. He was the control variable, the one constant in a storm of concepts and upgrades. And then came Hamilton. First it was Shanghai, then Imola, then Canada, breaking traces that didn't just bend expectations, they shattered them. He was braking 3 to 5 meters later than Leclerc's modeled limit, and still making the apex. No lockups, no instability, just cold clinical control. One engineer said, "We've built this car around Charles, and Lewis just broke it." They didn't say it with malice. They said it with awe, because Hamilton wasn't asking for the team to adapt to him. He was forcing it, without politics, without noise, just performance. And that's how belief shifts in F1. Not through strategy meetings or press briefings, but in the silence of a debrief room, when every engineer starts their sentence with, "based on what Lewis felt." Make no mistake, this wasn't just Hamilton adapting. This was Hamilton rewriting Ferrari's neural code. And for Charles, it wasn't just frustrating, it was existential. Ferrari has a saying internally, "The simulator never sleeps." But now it's getting outrun, because Hamilton isn't just driving faster. He's driving in a way the system wasn't programmed to understand. Real-time adaptive braking, modulation based on wind gusts, micro-adjustments in pedal pressure that shift corner balance by degrees before the car even reacts. You can't teach that. You can't model that. You can only witness it. One lead engineer, a veteran from the Schumacher era, whispered the unspeakable. "I haven't seen brake control like this since Michael." And that hit Maranello like an earthquake. Because at Ferrari, comparing anyone to Schumacher is a line you don't cross unless the evidence is bulletproof. But this is what shook the most. It wasn't a one-off. It was repeatable. Across circuits. Across compounds. Across temperatures. Leclerc, to his credit, tried to catch up. Pushed deeper into Baku's turn 3. Missed the apex. Lost 2/10. On race day, backed off, lost track position. That's not car performance. That's mental disruption. And Hamilton? He didn't say a word. Because when you're the one changing the gravitational pull inside a garage, you don't need to speak. The telemetry does the talking. This Ferrari wasn't designed for Lewis Hamilton, but it's becoming his. Brake migration profiles, once sacred to Leclerc, are now based on Hamilton's preferences. James Vowles has finally said what no one at Ferrari will. Lewis hasn't got the specific elements. He needs to feel strength from the car. That phrase isn't technical. It's surgical, and it explains why Ferrari hasn't unlocked Lewis Hamilton. Not yet. And here's the brutal irony. Charles Leclerc thrives on chaos. He drives through instability. He reacts. Lewis doesn't react. He orchestrates. That's why he's struggled. Not because he's slower, but because Ferrari's current feedback loop is not built for his genius. Vowles said something else, and it's subtle but massive. When he's confident, he and Charles are this close. That wasn't just a compliment. That was a warning. Because here's what the stats won't show you yet. In Miami, Hamilton pushed Leclerc hard. In China, sprint win. Every time the SF-25 behaves predictably for a few stints, Hamilton is right there. This isn't a decline story. It's a latency story. Lewis is processing a new operating system, one that fights his instincts. And when you've spent 12 years with Mercedes muscle memory baked into your subconscious, every 10th takes longer to reclaim. Let's be real. Carlos Sainz adapted to Ferrari, yes, but not while carrying the weight of 7 world championships. Not while recalibrating 12 seasons of deeply ingrained sensory memory. Not while being expected to lead Ferrari out of decades of dysfunction on day one. That's why Vowell's statement matters. It's all possible. It's all adaptation. Coming from the man who saw Hamilton build dynasties, this isn't a eulogy. It's a forecast. And it tells you something Ferrari hasn't admitted yet. They didn't just sign a legend. They signed someone who can redefine what their car needs to be. Let the doubters laugh. Let the media dissect every race where Charles finishes higher. They don't get it. Because here's the truth Vowell knows, and that Ferrari is slowly realizing. You don't win with Hamilton by making him adapt to your car. You win by letting him reshape the car into something only he can drive. And when that shift happens, Ferrari doesn't just have a champion. They have a kingmaker. This isn't just about finding pace. This is about unlocking belief in a system that was never built for Lewis, but may soon become the most dangerous thing on the grid because of him. And that's the kind of transformation that wins titles. Not in 2025, but in 2026, when the entire sport resets and Ferrari has a car written in Hamilton's signature. Watch the space between now and then, because every lap where he gets closer, it's not about recovery. It's about the rise before the storm.